As Junpyo drove back to the office, he recalled how Irene had said she couldn't call him sir, because it was disrespectful. He smiled. Foolish girl, can't you tell that I don't want you to get so formal around me? So you can call Taeyong by his name, but not me. What is going on here? The director who caught Minji before she could fall and pushed her forward asked. Minji pointed accusing fingers at Irene as she sounded aggrieved. I don't know what I did to her. Perhaps she's jealous of me. I just came in here and saw her sitting down. I asked her if you were not in your office, and then she got up and slapped me. How can someone be so uncouth? Why would she do that? I am not going to spare her. This is unacceptable. No one has ever hit me before. As the director listened to Minji's accusation, the man stared at Irene, who was silent. She had an air of composure about her and did not show any signs of anger. He recalled what the top judge had said when he gave him Irene's name. He had told him that Irene was special and ought to be treated as such. He didn't know what exactly the judge meant, but he wasn't going to give Irene a difficult time. So he just said, no fighting is allowed in this office. If that is your intention here, you can start going back to where you came from. Afterward, he went to take his seat. Now, let's focus on why we are all here. Focus. What are you saying? Minji asked, refusing to let go. She attacked me right here in your office, and you want me to just forget about it? How can I focus on something else when someone has attacked me? The man said, fine. Since you can't focus, why don't you just leave? Let me attend to the person who is focused. Realizing that the situation was not in her favor, Minji calmed down. She took out a chair and sat down while her assistant went outside to wait under the man's direction. She stared at Irene with so much anger. Why did she turn out to be the second star girl out of all the other girls? She asked herself. She had pulled some strings just to get to where she was. So how did Irene do it? A good-for-nothing nobody like her. While she was still lost in thought, the man said, in 2 days, you'll both have to perform, one after the other before a large crowd. This is to determine which of you would come out as the top star girl. The winner will be officially signed by Star Entertainment Agency. You'll be given a manager, and you'll get more opportunities to meet with big stars who collaborate with the Star Agency. You both have the star. That's why you're here. Now let's see who shines brightest. The details of what is expected of you have been sent to your emails, so you have just 2 days to show how good enough you are. Within this period of time, you should be able to go back home, come up with something original, practice, and be good enough to perform before a crowd. Don't forget, whoever moves the crowd will gain the crown. You can both leave now. I have other important matters to attend to. Thank you very much, sir, Irene said and got up. Minji also thanked the man and got up as well. As they both walked out of the agency, she glared at Irene, who ignored her. Irene walked out, took a cab, and went back home. The moment she got into the house, she went to her room and tried to come up with a song. She had just 2 days to perform, so there was no time to dally or fool around. Meanwhile, in his office, Junpyo kept waiting for Irene to call him. He had told her to call him when she was done, and as he looked at his watch, he saw that it was lunchtime. He looked forward to having lunch with her. However, she didn't call him. He began to wonder if something had happened since he had seen Minji and her dad at the agency. Taking out his phone, he dialed her number. Aren't you done with the agency? He asked. Oh, I am sorry, sir. Sorry, Mr. Junpyo. The thing is that we rounded up pretty early. It didn't even take up to an hour. I figured you'd be very busy and didn't want to inconvenience you. Okay, that's quite considerate, Junpyo said, hiding his displeasure. So how did it go at the agency? It went well, she replied. I've been asked to perform in 2 days. There'll be a contest between me and the other candidate who turned out to be Minji. We're both to perform one after the other on that day, and a winner would be chosen. Okay, I see. Yeah, I need to make an original song, so I am trying to work on it now, so in the next 2 days I'll give my best and not let you down. I trust you, Junpyo said. Take as much time as you want and focus on it. You can forget about everything else. Just make sure that whatever you put in is your best. I'll do just that, Mr. Junpyo. Thank you very much, Irene said. After the call ended, she went back to writing her song. She kept tearing out sheets, writing, canceling, and composing until she got tired and lay tiredly on her bed. During the next 2 days, that was what Irene spent her time doing, writing and practicing her songs. She only came out when it was time to eat breakfast or eat lunch, and then she'd go back inside to practice. Meanwhile, back in her own house, Minji went through the songs she had stolen from Irene, knowing that no one else had heard them except the people in her family. She picked one of the songs, changed some of the lyrics, and began to practice, determined to come out victorious. She looked at the date and circled it. The next day was when the contest was going to take place, and it was the day she wanted to humiliate Irene more thoroughly before the world. She called someone, and when the guy answered, she said, "Do not forget what I told you. I've paid for the front row tickets. Once Irene starts singing, you all should boo her and throw stones at her until she runs out of the stage. Of course, I've told you that everything will happen just like you want. You can consider it done. I've contacted more than 20 guys, and we'll all be ready for her." "Good, that is good," Minji said. "I will be the only graceful beauty who'd sing on that day." Having no idea what Minji was up to, Irene kept practicing with all her heart. After 2 days, Junpyo felt restless. He had not seen her in 2 days, and he had deliberately avoided her because he wanted to give her time to focus on her song. But now he missed her so much. He was happy the day had finally arrived, and he could get to see her face. He went to her door in the morning and knocked on it. She quickly opened the door, and when she saw him, she said, "Good morning, sir." "Sorry, Mr. Junpyo." He laughed. "Well, I'm set to go for work, although a bit later. I wanted to find out how you've been preparing." "I've prepared everything quite all right," she replied. "I am more than ready for it." "That's good. I'll pick you up in the evening and take you to the venue," Junpyo said. "Thank you, Mr. Junpyo. Would you like to hear my song? I mean the song I wrote." "Can I?" Junpyo asked. "Of course you can," she replied. He smiled and went into her room, sitting on the bed. He crossed his leg and watched her as she said, "The title of this song is Always and Forever. It's a love song." Afterward, she began to sing. Seeing how excited she was to sing before him, Junpyo could not stop himself from smiling. He watched in awe as she began to perform. Once again, he was mesmerized by her, and his heart was stirred. He kept staring at her as she sang until the end. When she finally stopped singing, she paused, breathing heavily. "How is it?" she asked. He got up and began to clap. "Wow, that was amazing, Irene. You are amazing." Thank you so much, Mr. Junpyo," Irene said happily. When Junpyo went to work that day, he kept thinking about how Irene had sung for him and wished he had recorded it. He would have loved to listen to it all over again. When the time came, he went back home to pick her up. He had contacted a beauty and looks brand to go to the house and get her ready, so he knew she was going to be looking her best. When he got home, he went towards her room and knocked on the door. She opened the door and stared at him, and he stood frozen in place, staring at her. He wanted to tell her that she was so beautiful, but he was afraid that she might feel uncomfortable. So in the end, he just said, "You look good. Let's go, Irene." She smiled and they left. When they arrived at the venue, he said, "I'll be waiting amidst the crowd to watch you perform." "Okay, I'll put in my best, I promise," Irene replied. "I know you will." As Irene got out and hurried into the hotel where the concert was taking place, she met with the director who had attended to her and Minji. It was a room in the hotel, and Minji was already there. She did not bother to spare Irene a glance while the director said, "It's good that you are both here in time. The plan has changed. I know initially Minji was supposed to perform before you, Irene, but now you both will go in together. You will both share a stage, and after Minji performs, Irene will. In summary, you will both stand before the audience together, but perform separately." Minji stared at him in surprise. What? The crowd was bustling with excitement as it was the 15th edition of the Star Girls, and everyone was eager for the different performances. As usual, Junpyo wore a cap and a t-shirt to conceal his appearance and sat at the back of the audience, waiting for Irene's performance. As both Irene and Minji listened to the director's new arrangements, Irene accepted them, saying, "Okay, sir, it's fine by me." However, Minji refused. "No, I will not share a stage with her. Let each of us perform separately. I do not agree to this." The director scoffed. "Stop being so picky. It's not up to you. As I told you before, you can leave if you're not comfortable with the arrangements we have made. That way, Irene can become the automatic winner." The director was already fed up with Minji's attitude, considering that the Star Girls were just newbies, and the Star Agency was a platform to help them begin their careers. Minji was just starting but was already full of herself, which annoyed him. Seeing that the director disliked her, Minji reluctantly said, "Fine, I agree." However, she panicked inside, knowing that sharing a stage with Irene could end badly for her, as the people she had planned with to stone Irene would also target her. It would become obvious if they were only throwing stones at Irene and not her. She didn't want any evidence to point toward her, so she excused herself and said she wanted to use the restroom. Inside, she tried to call the guys she had asked to recruit people to pelt stones at Irene, but they weren't picking up because of the noisy crowd. Eventually, she sent a text message which read, "Abort mission." Afterward, she returned, smiled at the director, and he said to both Irene and Minji, "You both can now walk out to the stage." As they made their way to stand before the audience, the crowd cheered louder, excited to see both of them. Minji spotted her parents sitting in the front row and smiled. When Hyejin saw Irene, the expression on her face changed to one of disdain, and she asked her husband, "How did Irene get here? How did she make it to the top two?" "Beats my imagination," he replied. "We can't let her win," Hyejin said. "Of course she can't win. I've bribed 3 judges. I'm sure those 3 can influence the 4th one. Do not worry, Minji will be chosen. Who do you think your husband is? I've already made all the necessary arrangements." Hyejin heaved a sigh of relief. "Oh, that is so much better." On the stage, Minji stood on the right while Irene stood on the left, both looking very beautiful. Minji wore a silver-colored, long custom-made gown that was designed with pearls. Her hair was tied up, and her makeup made her look alluring and beautiful. On the other hand, Irene wore a breathtaking green designer gown that draped gracefully around her slender figure, adorned with intricate embellishments that caught the light, creating a mesmerizing shimmer. The dress hugged her curves in all the right places, making her resemble a sexy model who dropped out of a painting. Her luscious, cascading locks were intricately styled, falling in gentle waves that framed her enchanting face. A few well-placed jewels sparkled delicately on her ears, neck, and wrist, accentuating her radiant presence. Junpyo had deliberately asked that Irene be made to look stunning so all eyes would be on her, and at this point, that was exactly what was happening. The man Minji had contracted to pelt stones at Irene became confused when he saw her. He didn't know what to do, so he tried to call her to ask if she still wanted him to go ahead. However, he saw the message she had left for him, and the excitement finally died down. He had been looking forward to the reaction he'd get from humiliating Irene on stage. He turned towards all the men he had recruited and said, "Time to abort the mission, let's go." One by one, they left the front row seats, and as Minji saw them leaving, she heaved a sigh of relief. The MC began to speak. "You're all welcome to the 5th edition of the Star Girls. You can see the 2 beautiful ladies here. They are our top 2 candidates. Let us hear from them who they really are." He first handed the mic to Minji, making her happy as she felt like a winner already. She said, "My name is Minji Park. My passion is music. I love to sing, and I've always known from childhood that I was born to be a star. And today, I will prove that to every single one of you." The audience cheered for her, and then the mic was handed to Irene, who said, My name is Irene, and singing makes me happy. I hope you all would feel happy when you listen to my song." The audience cheered for her as well. "Okay," the MC said, taking over. "Now that we have known the names of our contestants, let us know more about them before we allow them to perform. Look at the screen, and let's see what they've been up to." As the light on the screen came on, a video suddenly began to play, surprising everyone in the crowd. The video showed the point where an evil grin flashed on Minji's face as she pulled the straps of Irene's dress, making them come off immediately. It was the first time Irene had gotten the opportunity to perform before a crowd, but Minji had sabotaged her. Everyone watched in surprise, and the crowd gasped. Seeing their reactions, Minji, who initially did not know what was being shown on the screen, also turned and stared at the screen in shock. How desperate can one be? The MC asked. Irene was also surprised, as she didn't expect Minji to be exposed in this way. She had suspected that Minji was the one who tried to sabotage her. From where she stood, Minji began to shiver as the crowd booed at her, screaming her name. "We hate you, Minji. You're so evil, Minji. She's your sister, for crying out loud. Couldn't you spare your sister?" Below the stage, Junpyo smiled, recalling the conversation he had with the top judge when they told him that they were going to make sure Minji paid for what she did to Irene. He had said, "I want her to be humiliated more than Irene was today." He smiled, satisfied with what the judge had arranged. Minji began to cry while her parents stared at the scene in surprise. The MC said, "Minji Park's behavior is unacceptable, and therefore she's disqualified." Irene was shocked, not expecting such a turnout. "Can you please leave the stage?" The MC said to Minji. Feeling extremely embarrassed, Minji turned and ran away in tears. The MC said, "Miss Irene, you're now the automatic winner of the Star Girls. However, the crowd will still want to watch you perform. Can you grace us with your melodious voice?" "With all pleasure," Irene replied. Taking the mic from him, she stood in front of the crowd, said the title of her song, and began to sing. While she sang, everyone watched quietly, and once again, she took their breath away. When she finished singing, the crowd erupted in applause, cheering for her. Tears fell from her eyes. "I'll never get used to this," she said inwardly. The MC came out and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the one and only Star Girl." The crowd cheered, and from where he sat, Junpyo smiled. He got up and left the hall, knowing that Irene would eventually come to meet him in the car. Meanwhile, the director, who had earlier spoken to them, came out and handed a plaque to Irene. She smiled and received it humbly. Afterward, she was escorted off the stage while other artists came to perform. As she went into the room the director led her to, he smiled and handed a contract to her, saying, "You can sign this, and you'll officially be under Star Entertainment Agency. Miss Irene, you're born to be a star." Hearing his words, Irene subconsciously remembered how Junpyo had told her, "I will make you a star." She smiled, wanting to see him at this point to share her joy with him. After signing the contract, she ran out of the room and began happily making her way out of the hall. However, when she got backstage, she saw a few young boys and girls asking her for her autograph. She was shocked. It was the first time anyone had asked for her autograph. "Okay," she said, and happily began to sign on their hands using a pen one of them gave to her. When she turned, she noticed her dad and stepmom standing, staring at her with so much anger in their eyes. Deciding to ignore them, she wanted to walk away after greeting the children. However, her dad held her hand, pulled her back, and raised his hand to slap her. At this point, though, someone caught his wrist and flung his hand away, screaming, "What do you think you're doing, old man?" Daeyoung watched in surprise as the young man who had flung his hand led Irene out of the hall. Once they were outside, Irene said, "Thank you very much." At this time, though, Minji was inside her car crying her heart out. It finally dawned on her that everyone had deliberately plotted to humiliate her, and she was convinced that Irene was in on the plan. "Hi," the young man who had saved Irene said. "Do you need a ride home?" Oh no, Irene replied. I already got one. Do you know me? He asked. Yes, who doesn't know you? Irene said. It's such an honor to meet you. He chuckled. Come on, don't be so serious, Now that you're a star girl, I'm sure we'll be seeing more of each other frequently. Really? Yes, I have a deal with the star agency going on. I can collaborate with any good musician here in this agency. That's nice, Irene said, smiling at him. While they were speaking, Junpyo, who was in his car waiting for Irene, noticed the way they were talking and smiling at each other. He recognized the young man, who he knew was in his early 20s. He couldn't help but frown, feeling very jealous, especially because the age gap between the young man and Irene wasn't wide. After saying goodbye to the man who had saved her, Irene hurried to the car, wanting to express how happy she was to Junpyo. When she got in, she said, Sir. Oh, sorry, Mr. Junpyo. Thank you very much. If it weren't for you, I don't know if I'd ever have been able to achieve what I did today. It's okay, Junpyo said. You did well. With those words, he turned on the ignition and began driving home. Irene was surprised as she saw that he wasn't so excited. Could it be that her performance wasn't satisfactory? She wondered, as he had been more excited than she was before her performance. Unable to bottle it in, she said, Excuse me, sir, is there something bothering you? Or have I done something to upset you? No, there's nothing, Junpyo replied curtly. I'm tired, I just need to rest. The moment they arrived home, he came down from the car and said, Good night. Afterward, he began making his way to his room. Irene didn't know what had gone wrong, but she felt that she may have done something to upset him, or he wasn't satisfied with her performance. Perhaps she had let him down. The maids who were all in the living room congratulated her when she came in. She thanked them and went into her room. She had been so happy earlier, but now because of how Mr. Junpyo replied, she suddenly felt as though there was a lump in her throat. Meanwhile, after being driven back home, Minji angrily destroyed everything she could lay her hands on, breaking glass, including the TV, while her mom struggled to restrain her. What is wrong with you? She asked, pushing her over the couch. Must you destroy everything in the house? Minji broke down, crying hysterically. What do you want me to do, Mom? I was humiliated before the whole world. Everyone is making fun of me. My career. Everything has been taken away by Irene. Irene, who is Irene? She's a nobody. Irene took everything from me, Mom, and you're asking me to calm down. Relax, her father said. It is not over. It is over, Dad, it is over, Minji replied. He went to sit beside her and said, Listen, first thing in the morning, I'm going to ensure that you're enrolled in the best music academy in the world. We have it right here in this country. So tell me, how would you not be a star if you attend the best music academy? Minji thought about it and sighed. Still, Irene will be ages ahead of me. Of course not. Whoever it is that she's exchanging sexual favors with will soon get tired of her. Trust me, that's how it works. Do not worry, okay? On the contrary, your mom and I will always be here for you, and everyone will know that they made a big mistake and you are the true star. Meanwhile, when Irene woke up in the morning, she went on social media and realized that almost everyone was talking about her. She quickly got ready, took her bath, changed, and left the house. The director had asked her to report to the agency the next day, and naturally, she would have followed Junpyo. But with his expression last night, she was worried that she might do something to offend him. So she went herself. The moment she got there, she was directed to the office of the man whom she was told would be her manager. When she got there, she said, Good morning, sir. He smiled. Everyone is talking about you, Irene. This is an opportunity for you. You need to ride on this popularity you have so you can soar higher. I'm Jae-wook, by the way. I manage new star girls until they become big enough to stand on their own 2 feet. You're lucky to be in this agency. He stared at her again and said, Our company is collaborating with big stars, so we can boost the star girls. We'll be able to get you one of such collaborations. By the way, do you know Hyunwoo? Hyunwoo? The musician? Yes, so I saw him last night. He even saved me. Oh, that's nice. It means the two of you already have a good relationship. He's a big star, and in 2 days you two would perform a duet. A duet? In 2 days? But I only know how to sing solo. Come on, you're going to learn. As a musician, you need to be diverse. You cannot just restrict yourself to one field. Do you understand? Irene nodded. I understand. Your followers will grow too, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and all. You should mind what you post now because you're a celebrity. People would want to watch everything that happens in your life. Very soon, you'll be qualified to have an assistant. While they were speaking, Hyunwoo, the guy who had saved her last night, came in. When Irene saw him, she smiled. Hi, it's nice to meet you. Hi, Irene, he said. If it isn't the latest Spark girl. Irene smiled while he took out a script and said, Here, I decided to make everything easy for you. So I wrote the song we're going to be performing because I know forking out a song on such short notice is going to be difficult for you. Actually this. Don't worry, I got you, Irene, he said. To make yourself more popular, we're going to tell everyone that this song belongs to you and you're featuring me. Oh, really? Irene looked at the script and what was expected of her to sing. She smiled. Thank you very much. I'll just send you a recording of the part I've done so you'd know what to do, okay? Hyunwoo said. Okay, Irene replied. All right, since you two can work well together, I don't need to speak much. We hope for nothing but good results, the manager said. After the manager finished speaking, Irene turned to leave and Hyunwoo walked beside her. When they were outside, Irene wanted to leave the agency, but he said, Hold on, Irene, you know nothing goes for nothing, right? I don't understand what that means, Irene replied. Hyunwoo said, Come on, I helped you last night and am helping to boost your career. You know, you and I could get to know each other more personally, maybe grab some lunch, you come to my house, and we make each other happy. Sorry, I can't do those things. Irene replied as the smile on her face disappeared. He smiled. Come on, why are you looking so serious? I was just pulling your legs. Don't be too rigid, Irene. You've got to be flexible. All right, now I'll be going, Irene replied. Hold on. We need to take some pictures to promote our upcoming music, Hyunwoo said. As he spoke, he made a phone call, and a few photographers who seemed to have been waiting around suddenly came out and began to take pictures of them. As he held her intimately with his arm going around her waist and her shoulders, Irene found herself feeling uncomfortable since he was deliberately flirting with her. The moment he let go, she said, Goodbye, thank you. She turned and hurried out of the agency. He stared at her and smiled. She's so shy. Well, once I'm done with you, you'll become really bold. They always do. After she left, a few journalists whom Hyunwoo had contacted came to him and he smiled. You guys came right on time. All right, let's begin the interview, they said. So, what's your relationship with Irene, the new star girl? He smiled. Well, it was love at first sight. We just hit it off, can you believe it? We just met, and suddenly sparks were flying here and there. But you're known to have different girlfriends every now and then. One of the journalists responded. Irene is different. She's very special. Have you heard her voice? She's an angel. I'm smitten and so in love with her, and I feel very lucky. Fortunate that she chose to give me a chance. Hyunwoo said. Wow, the journalists exclaimed. Irene, who had no idea about what was going on, hurried back home and began practicing the song Hyunwoo had given her while listening to the part he had recorded. In his office, Junpyo thought about the fact that Irene had left this morning without saying a word to him and felt guilty for the way he treated her. He quickly left the office, telling himself that he would go back home, take her out for dinner, and pretend that he wanted to talk about work. That way he could spend more time with her. When he arrived home, he came out of his car with a smile on his face. However, as he approached his house, he noticed he had gotten a new notification. He had set his account so any update that concerned Irene would instantly alert him. When he went on social media, he saw Hyunwoo's interview and became filled with anger. He marched straight to Irene's door, knocked, and went in. Irene, who had asked him to come in when he knocked, smiled and said, "Hi, mister." He pointed his hand at her and said, "Is this who Irene really is?" "What do you mean, sir?" she asked. He shook his head. "You know, I thought you were different. I thought you were someone who cared more about her skills rather than playing around with." "What are you talking about, sir?" Irene asked with a worried expression on her face. "I am very disappointed in you," Junpyo said lastly. Irene stared at him in shock, not understanding what was happening, while Junpyo angrily walked out of her room. Irene sat on her bed trying to understand what must have gone wrong. Recalling that Junpyo said he was disappointed in her, she decided to go online to see what was happening. She was shocked to see that, under her profile, she was tagged to an interview that had been done by Hyunwoo, and he said they were dating. What? How can he do this? She wondered. This must be why Mr. Junpyo is so disappointed. He probably thinks I'm an easy girl who would sleep with a celebrity just for fame. How could Hyunwoo do this? She picked up her phone and quickly called him. When he answered the call, she said, "I just saw an interview of you saying we're dating. I don't understand. When did we start dating?" "Calm down," Hyunwoo said. "Don't you understand how these things work? It is just for clout. We are going to be performing, so everyone will start talking about us, thinking we're dating, looking forward to our music, and then once we release it, boom, your fame will skyrocket and our song will be on everyone's lips." "No, I don't like it," Irene said. "I don't want to pretend to be in a relationship with you. I don't like this. Listen, you're new to the world of showbiz and you're still naive. Just let it be. Once we perform, you'll understand why this is for your own good. Talk to you later. I'm very busy now." Hyunwoo hung up while Irene began to pace up and down. After a while, she picked up her phone and called her manager. The moment he picked, he did not give her a chance to speak, but asked, "Have you seen your followers, Irene?" "Yes, I have," Irene replied. She really didn't care about that. Before she started singing, she had just 10 followers. After her first performance, where she sang the last song during her first show, she gained 300 extra followers. When she won the Star Girls competition, she gained 1,000 followers. And just now, after Hyunwoo made the interview, she gained an extra 1,000 followers. She now had almost 2,500 followers, but this did not mean anything to her if Junpyo misunderstood her. "I don't like this," she said. "Oh, come on," her manager replied. "You're a novice and you don't know anything about how showbiz works. I've told you to ride on this popularity while you can. Hyunwoo is a big deal. He's a big star, okay? It's a privilege for you to be rumored as his girlfriend. Everyone will be talking about you. Even those who don't know you will tune in to listen to your music. After your performance, your followers will increase tremendously." Irene sighed. "But I don't like it. It's for your own good, Irene, okay? Just listen to me. As your manager, my job is to guide you in the right direction. Do as I say and everything will be fine." After the call ended, Irene sighed and sat on her bed feeling uncomfortable. Why is he doing this? Back home, Daeyoung and Haejin saw the video of Hyunwoo's interview and Daeyoung snorted. Such a cheap girl. No wonder, this idiot called Hyunwoo dared to hold my hand. So, this is how she got to that level, by dating and sleeping with this vagabond. I'm going to teach her a lesson. He took out his phone, called someone and said, "The girl, Irene, there's a video about her and the new musician she's dating. I want you to troll her as much as possible online. Let everyone know how cheap she is." "Okay, I'll get right on it." After sitting on her bed for a while, thinking about what to do, Irene decided to go through the comment section and see what people had to say about her supposed relationship. She was shocked to see people calling her a cheap slut. Some said she was sleeping around. A comment even said, "I thought she was an innocent girl. I even thought she was a beauty with a sweet voice, but people like her only know how to sleep their way to the top." Irene felt so angered by the comment. She balled her fist until her knuckles turned white. Why should I bear the brunt of this? She asked. I never asked him to go ahead and tell the whole world we're dating. Everyone now thinks I'm cheap, and Mr. Junpyo is mad at me. He is the last person I want to offend. She thought about what to do for a long time and finally decided to make a video. No matter what anyone said, she would not allow herself to be misunderstood. She quickly made a video and said, "Hi everyone, my name is Irene. There's an interview that was made by Hyun-woo about the two of us being in a relationship. I am making this video to tell everyone that it's not true. I have no such relationship with Mr. Hyun-woo, as I recently just met him. We are not dating." The moment she uploaded the video, Irene's manager called her and said, "For not listening to my words, Irene, you'll regret it, I can assure you." After her manager's call ended, the next call Irene received was from Hyun-woo. She answered it immediately. Her phone rang and he said, "Why did you do that, Irene? I told you that everything I was doing was to help you." "I'm sorry," Irene replied. "I was just uncomfortable with it. I mean, you should have asked me for my opinion before telling the whole world that we're dating." "Okay, you know what? Never mind. I'm not happy with what you've done, but in the end, you'll be the one to lose. Let's just do our song in 2 days, and after that, we can go our separate ways. There's no need for us to work together anymore." Hyun-woo replied. After he spoke, he hung up, while Irene heaved a sigh of relief. That went well. At least we'll still get to perform. Meanwhile, Hyun-woo stared at his phone as his eyes darkened. "Irene, you think you're smart. Did you dare to humiliate me before the world? I'm so going to teach you a lesson." After hesitating for a while, Irene got up and left her room. She went to Junpyo's room and knocked on the door. Junpyo had been so upset that he did not even have dinner, but remained in his room, wondering why Irene chose to date Hyun-woo. "Who's there?" he asked. "It's Irene," she replied. He opened the door and folded his arms. "What is it, Irene?" "Mr. Junpyo, can I talk to you?" she asked. "I'm all ears," Junpyo replied. Irene said, "Actually, the interview that was made by Hyun-woo is a lie. I have nothing going on with him. Last night, after my performance, I went backstage and my dad tried to slap me. He came in and saved me, and after that, he walked me out. I thanked him and that was it. Only this morning, I realized I was meant to collaborate with him. My manager said it would help me to grow, and I thought that was it. I didn't expect him to make a video, telling the whole world that we're dating. I'm not dating him, and I'm not that kind of girl. I'll never randomly date someone, just for benefits. I have posted the truth on my page. I don't want you to misunderstand me." Junpyo nodded. "It's okay. It's not that I was upset. I just don't like it when people become famous through despicable means. I want you to become a star based on your capability, because you have what it takes. I don't want everyone to think that you got to where you were by doing something wrong. Anyways, as long as what is trending is not the truth, it's okay. I believe you. I will not let you down," Irene said confidently. "I trust you," he replied. She smiled and went back to her room while he went into his. Junpyo quickly went online and saw the video Irene had made. He felt very happy and relieved. He watched the video over and over and could not stop smiling. During the next 2 days, Irene prepared thoroughly for the song she was going to perform with Hyun-woo. She did not want to let him down since it had to do with their careers. When the time came for Irene to perform, Junpyo drove her to the location, while she went into a room to get ready. As usual, Junpyo sat at the back, amidst the audience, wearing a face cap so no one would be able to recognize him. Jae-wook advised Irene to tell everyone about her performance on her page to create more awareness, so Irene did a short video of herself before her performance saying, "Hi guys, I'm going to be performing a song titled When There's You. I'm going to be doing it with a famous singer, Hyun-woo. For those who cannot attend the concert, I hope you can tune in to watch, thank you." After making the video, she left the room and began walking so she could stand closer to the stage, while her manager stared at her back with disdain in his eyes as he thought, "I'm going to teach you a lesson, Irene. How dare you go against me? Irene walked out to the stage when they were called to perform their song. Hyunwoo was already there, but she was surprised to see someone else, a top musician, Soare, who was even higher than Hyunwoo. Irene had thought they were going to be performing a duet, since that's what Hyunwoo told her. She didn't know it was going to be a trio. However, she decided not to think too much about it and sing her part. Perhaps the lady wasn't going to be performing. She was supposed to start while Hyunwoo would take the second verse. However, as she began making her way to stand beside him, the top singer, Soare, began to sing. Irene stopped in her track when she realized that Soare was singing her lyrics, the one she was supposed to be singing. After that, Hyunwoo began to sing as well. Irene ended up standing behind, watching the both of them as though she was just a spectator. They kept singing until the song came to an end. Afterward, Hyunwoo turned, stared at her, and smiled. Ignoring her afterward, he smiled at Soare and they hugged as the crowd cheered for them. Finally, they walked off the stage while Irene found it difficult to even take a step. Those who did not like Irene began to make fun of her, saying she thought she was something special because Hyunwoo showed her his attention. She's just a newbie. What does she know about music? Can she compare to our superstar, Soare? Irene felt extremely humiliated and finally managed to walk off the stage. Junpyo watched everything from where he sat and felt very upset. He understood everything that Hyunwoo had done as well as his reasons. He quietly walked out of the hall. Taking out his phone from his pocket, he called his assistant and said, "The artist Hyunwoo. I want his career dead by the end of tomorrow. Jae-wook, the man who was Irene's manager as well as the musician Soare. I want them all destroyed. They should have nothing left by the end of the month." "It will be done, sir," Jihoon replied. Afterward, Junpyo went to the car to wait for Irene. She ran to a room and cried her heart out. A few minutes later, she wiped her eyes and tried to control her emotions. She didn't want to break down in front of Junpyo, and she knew he was waiting for her. When she came out of the room, she bumped into her manager who had been looking for her to rub it in. He stared at her and smiled. "Artists like you who chose to be stubborn always end up the way you have. You will never make it to the top, Irene. Mark my words." He turned away as Irene became teary-eyed once again. After he walked away with a smile on his face, Irene wiped her tears and went to meet Junpyo in the car. When she sat inside the car, Junpyo said, "Your eyes are puffy. Have you been crying?" "I'm sorry if I disappointed you," she replied. Junpyo smiled and gently tapped her hair. "Do not say that. You did not disappoint me, Irene. I want you to understand something. Life is full of disappointments. Sometimes, the people you do not expect will disappoint you, but you should always be ready to bounce back. That is the true spirit of a fighter. This is just nothing but a temporary setback. When you have Junpyo by your side, is there anything that can stand in your way?" Irene shook her head. "Good," Junpyo said. As they drove home, Irene suddenly found herself feeling so much better. As long as Junpyo wasn't upset with or disappointed in her, she could easily put what happened behind her. However, that night she could not sleep. She didn't want to go on social media because she knew that after the video she posted, people were going to be making fun of her. The next morning, though, Junpyo got up early, got dressed, and knocked on her door. Irene opened it, yawning. Her hair was a mess as she hadn't yet taken her bath. When she saw that it was Junpyo, she said, "Good morning, Mr. Junpyo." "Morning, Irene. Get ready. We need to go somewhere." Junpyo replied. "Okay, I'll be right out," she said. She rushed into the bathroom, quickly brushed her teeth, took her bath, and hurried out of her room after getting dressed. When they got into Junpyo's car, she asked him, "Where are we going, Mr. Junpyo?" "You will find out," he replied. She quietly watched him as he drove until they finally arrived at what she knew was a famous college, the Seoul Royal Academy of Music. She came out of the car the moment Junpyo did, and he said, "Come on, let's go inside." As they got to the gate, Irene stopped and asked him, "I don't understand, sir. What are we doing here?" Junpyo smiled. Do you remember my promise to give you a gift? Well, Irene, this is your gift. Welcome to your new college, the Seoul Royal Academy of Music. Irene stared at him with eyes wide open. I'm going to be schooling here, sir. I mean, Mr. Junpyo? Yes, you will, Junpyo replied. And in a few years, this is where you're going to graduate from as one of the best students. Irene squealed in excitement. Forgetting her place, she ran towards Junpyo and threw herself in his arms, hugging him, while he looked down at her in surprise. Thank you for watching. Kindly subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so as to get notified when we drop new stories. Like and share to family and friends, and finally tell us where you're watching from in the comment section, and we will see you in our next video.